A ship requires ongoing maintenance and duties in order to keep the day-to-day operations running smoothly with the safety navigation. This applies for the deck and engine departments, particularly if we are talking about the maintenance of the ship deck, hull, superstructure, and the engine room, and also with the watch-keeping involved departments. You might be wondering, what does this presentation have that I haven't learned in the last 4 years, right? Well, you will know it if you stay here just a few more minutes. So, let's move on with this presentation.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Karamañitis.
My name is Fernando Marchena.
My name is Ricauter, Chang.
And Jesus Aguilar.
And my name is Raúl Iturralde.
So now that you know who we are, we're gonna begin with the explanation of the duty and responsibility of the crew member on ship.
Before we start explaining the duties and responsibility of every officer on board the ship, we have to make a highlight at the most important duty that every officer has in common, the bridge department. So it is the bridge watchkeeping. And you might be wondering, what is watchkeeping, right? This is one of the most significant shipboard operations for ship officer of watch, which is the safe and smooth navigation during leaving and entering the port, during restricted waters, during coastal water, ocean water, and the port, all the time, right? And why is so important? Well, for safety reasons, obviously. Just to ensure the safety of the crew, cargo, and environment. This is the most important thing of the watchkeeper. So let's move on and talk about the 3 main duties of officer of watch. This topic can be very broadly, and for the sake of understanding, it's going to be classified in 3 different main topics. The first one is going to be the navigation, the second one is going to be watchkeeping, finally the GNDSS, radio communication,
So let's begin with the explication of the watchkeep. We have to take care about the navigation, right? So we have 3 different factors here: the speed, course, and direction. We have to maintain the same speed, course, and direction till the end of the watch. So to make a good practice of the watchkeeping. The second one is the traffic density. Now that you are satisfied with the position and curve of the ship, we are wasting time look outside of the bridge to get a clear view of the ride and check the number of vessels around. The next important factor to check is the weather condition. Make sure you are aware of the wind speed and direction. Set and drift of current, as they play an important role in the charting a good course. So the next point to consider is the watchkeeping. Well, the lookout. So be sure to make a appropriate lookout. We should be alert all times, as the rule number 5 of Correct said. So we have to put a special emphasis on lookout and state that every vessel should all times maintain a proper lookout by sight and hearing, as well as by all available means appropriate by the prevailing circumstances and conditions, so as to make a full appraisal of the situation or risk of collision.
It's pretty straightforward and pretty simple for just about anybody that has an M802 wants to call another vessel on the DSC frequencies.
So the next point to consider during the watchkeeping in this briefly summary, so it is the GNSS radio watchkeeping. In general, any vessel equipped with a VHF marine radio telephone must maintain a watch on channel 16 whenever the telephone is not being used to communicate, and also to check the navigational awareness and also thesis. And it is the general purpose of the bridge watchkeeper. And just to keep in mind, this is the daily routine of the watchkeeper officer on board.
So let's begin with the explanation of the duties and responsibility of the second and third officer on board a ship.
The safety officer, or also known as a third officer or mate, is the junior bridge officer on board a ship. He or she is in charge of the maintenance of all life-saving appliances and firefighting equipment, and they are responsible for the recording bridge logbook regularly. During port watch, they are in charge of the safety of people who get on board the ship, and ensure the proper loading and unloading of the cargo, and also they have to help the pilot during embarkation and disembarkation and get to the bridge safely. And what about the navigation officer, or also known as a second mate or officer? He or she is in charge of the passage planning, and they have to present it to the master, and this is one of the most important steps to make a quick, safe and efficient navigation. They also have to assist the master communication by using the GNSS telephone. Well, they are in charge of the GNSS communication, receiving emergency calls, etc. They should record it of the GNSS logbook. And also, the second officer is the person on the ship in charge of the ship hospital, by giving medical assistance, first aid, in case sickness, they make examination and treatment. And on the other hand, they are in charge of the medical equipment, medicines, and they also have to record it on the medical logbook. And finally, they are the officer in charge of the ship certificate.
My name is Ricauter Chang. I'm gonna talk about the master.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Master and the first officer duties. So we know the master, he's the highest authority on the ship. He's responsible for the whole operation of the ship, direct coordinate and control for the whole activity carried out on board. He's the beginning responsible for the safety of the ship, the crew member, cargo and navigation. And also he's the ship owner representative, or he represents the company on board. Another of the master duties on board. He is the economical operation of the vessel. The master must endeavor to promote to the company interest by operation the vessel safety and economical by knowing fully well the ship's construction and capacity. In navigation, he must strive to maximize the owner profits by accomplishment to the voyage and scheduled dates, and to endeavor to prevent losses and taking extra precautions to measure the avoid accidents and other catastrophe incidents.
Attention all crew, now we have collision.
He also responsible for the GMDS and versing radar or the other equipment on board. The master has the full responsibility for the above mentioned equipment. He should ensure that they are properly maintained, operate by authorized persons. So when he examines GMDS operations in this post, like example, he should be appointed another crew member instead to take over this responsible. Okay, he determining the course and the speed of the vessel. The master is responsible for the determining of the course and speed of the vessel. He must undertake the vessel reach to the destination on time and must not on short of course except for the reason allowed by the law. One of the duties of the ship officer or the first officer. The ship officer is responsible for the performance vessel navigation watch duties. He is responsible for the entire cargo operation in port, which include the loading and unloading and cargo planning. He is on charge for the maintenance for the cargo gear and cargo carrier on board ships. He might also one of the critical tasks performed by the ship officer is accountable by the stability of the ship. He is responsible for the maintenance of all of the ship hulls and accommodations. The ISPX code is another responsible for the ship officer has to look over. He also trained in all above regulations and conventions are to carry out by the chief officers as per company policies. To look after supplies, overtime, cost control records, purchase orders, other paperwork on the vessels. He also acts to the CC, the SSO, the ship security officer. He is responsible for the security of the boat or the part of the sea, like on board and the sea. He is responsible for all the security on vessel. He over the safety on charge of the deck crew, and he is responsible for the well-brief, welfare of the crew on board on ship.
Well, it was the first part of our presentation. It was the summary of the duties and responsibilities of the deck department. So now let's move on and talk about the responsibility of the engine department on a ship.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Karamañitis and I am a cat, and today I will talk to you about the engine department. As a part of engine room watchkeeping routine, marine engineers are required a lot of all important machinery parameters, such as pressure, temperature, and revolution. In the engine room logbook, the logbook parameters are also checked during surveys and investigation to any kind of accidents in the engine room.
Engine room watches. Handing over and taking over is very crucial for all engine room operations. It eliminates all the possibilities of any human error due to communication gap among watchkeepers. After every watch, engine room watch to be handed over from present watchkeeper to next watchkeeper. A proper handover of important events and condition of the machinery from one watchkeeper to the other. Engine room watch should be started with your entry from changing room to engine room. This includes check all parameter gadgets in the engine room control. Check that the load is sufficient on the generator. Check to the engine room logbook requirement for any cargo or maneuvering operation. Check if any operations are being carried or like fuel transfer, fresh water, and tank filling.
Engines ratings. The wiper, the motorman, and oiler. The wiper is in charge to cleaning the engine room. The motorman performs a variety of tasks connected with the maintenance and repair of the engine room. And oiler have various duties include regular maintenance of the ship engine and other equipment. Third engineer.
Third engineer duties and responsible. Acts as an understudy of the second engineer. Performs sea and port watchkeeping. Maintains the boiler and performs cooler water tests. Monitors all pump lines, provision repair, emergency pump lines, and ship spare and store. Manage fuel consumption, custodying of engine logbook and other engineering records. Performs such other functions as may be assigned by the second engineer. second engineer. The primary function of the second engineer is to supervise the daily operations and maintenance of all machinery, including the ballast system, plant, and firefighting equipment on board. The second engineer's responsibilities include, but are not limited to, the execution of the planned maintenance, supervision of repairs, and advising chief engineer. The second engineer is responsible for planning and organization of the engine crew member. During their watch, they are responsible for the safety and integrity of the engine department. That relevant procedures are followed.
Hello, teacher and classmates. My name is Fernando Marchena. I'm a senior tech cadet at LIP. Today I'm going to describe what does the chief engineer's job include. A marine chief engineer holds complete responsibility for the operation of the engine room and any maintenance on the machinery on board on the vessel. As head of the marine engineering on board the ship, the marine chief engineer works closely with the captain, occasionally holding equal rank, to ensure that the physical aspect of the vessel is completely under control. The marine chief engineer delivers general daily operation of the engine room to its primary assistant, which will be the second. As well, they will prepare the noon report with the help of the chief officer, and they will specifically be determining the volume of oil, fuel, and lube that is required for each voyage to ensure that substantial quantities of each is on board. A sailor, it's any person working on board of a ship. Generally, a ship's crew is divided into 4 main categories, each one with a unique responsibility on the ship's task for operation and maintenance. The deck department, the engineering department, steward department, and others. A mariner working for the deck department will usually handle the mooring lines in a mooring operation, or the anchoring system in an anchoring operation. They will also do some maintenance on board, basically shipping and painting, and to the main deck, superstructure or hull. In the navigational bridge, the mariner will be the one doing sometimes either the lookout, or they will be operating the steering wheel, whichever the captain prefers or decides. In the engineering department, a mariner will be the one operating and doing the maintenance to the systems of the propulsion system and the steering system of the vessel, as well to the hotel facilities on board, as it will be the air conditioner, sewage, and fresh water system. A mariner on board is necessary, in general terms, a mariner on board is necessary to have some knowledge in firefighting and first aid. It doesn't matter if it's a steward's department or a deck department or engineering department. And the person who will be in charge of the engineering department is the chief engineer. He will deal with the administration of the staff and the operations of the engineering department. The stewards department will be the ones that will cook for the whole crew, and the only time that they will deal with a task different than cooking, it's when there's fire on board or when there's an abandon the ship maneuver. This is the reason why every single mariner on board has to have some knowledge in firefighting and first aid. The others department basically refers to the nursing station on board or to a personnel in charge of the administration in terms of handling money. Not with nautical terms, but handling money and documents. Some ships require this type of personnel, not all of them, so that's why it will be classified as others.
Teacher and classmate, I am Jesus Aguilar. I am from Santiago, Panama. I will talk you about the AB and the boson. Able-bodied seaman. What it's like working as an able-bodied seaman, as a member of the deck crew. An able-bodied seaman, or AB, as a very role on board a ship, which is often physically demanding, and be its nature all weather. Able seamen, as with any seafaring rules, have to balance their family and work life as they can be at sea for a long period of time. The flip side of those prolonged stretches at sea is lengthy leave period, which may seafaring a unique sector to work in. Well, if I am AB, what kind of work can I do? The AB's duties including stating where the AB will steer the ship according to the deck officer's instruction and general assist the mate on watch, performing routine maintenance and docking duties and any other tasks that the officer requests. AB may also carry out deck and accommodation patrol and maintain on lifeboat, rescue boat, life raft, and emergency and damage control here. Seniors AB could take on a further roles, akin on a foreman, directly supervising maintenance operation and allocating tasks. When AB is deemed the company to be well experienced and is in position of the requisite skills to be one, he is promoted to the rank of the bosun. A bosun has to be thorough with seamanship practice and must possess considerable knowledge in the aspect of notch, hitches, bands, weapons, and splicing for the anchorage, the vessel, among other things. The main duty of bosun revolves in the deck area of the ship. The bosun is a member of the deck department, and his duty, among others, is to supervise the deck crew of the vessel. The bosun is also involved under the purview of the ship officer, and eventually the master, in the planning, scheduling, and assigning of the work to the deck crew on ship. To further simplify his role, a bosun has to ensure that the lowermost workers are effective in their duties and that the ship's officers are able to carry out the work without constant direct involvement in the crew's deck work and other aspects involving the deck crew. Well, to categorize the general duties of the bosun, they can be classified under the following heading. Supervision. As mating able, bosun supervise the deck crew for the work that they carry out, and to ensure that the work carried out is of appropriate quality and is done on time. Maintaining a complete point covers this aspect. To reiterate the importance of it, The boson ensures work is all carrier or in the assigned area to ensure that the data is maintained properly. Aside from preventive maintenance, the boson also gives to the junior member of the crew to understand the importance of deck work in its effective execution. Mooring and anchoring. From the time when the mooring lines are laid or the depth prior to reach port, right to the time when the ship is cut off, the bosun plays the accurate rules in efficient operation of the vessel. The same applies to anchoring of the vessel. To suit, the bosun plays a vital role in ensure that the ship is seaworthy, being the process between the officer and crew. The bosun is essential and inspirited to the smooth function on the ship.
Well, and that was all the information that you need to know about the crew members, the deck department, the engine department, the bosun, the ABs, the ordinary seamen. That they have an important role on board the ship. So just we have to keep in mind the main idea of the video, the main duties and responsibility of every crew member on board the ship. So now let's move on and finish this video with just a little vocabulary that we learned while making this video, right? So let's do it.
Parlay, that's the one. Parlay.
Number 1. Verlic, sharks, bigs, bowlers, dolphins. What? Which is which? So verlics have a roller attached to them. Its purpose is to guide the mooring line like these ones. Shocks are structural reformers to dart mooring lines to or from the shore. These guys are hybrid roller fair shocks. We call them roller shocks, and they're also used to guide mooring lines. Bowlers are mostly found offshore for security mooring lines. Sometimes you can also find them in a ship, but they are also big bowlers. And they are also to secure dock lines and fair line. Dolphins are, well, these guys. No, dolphins are pucks driving into the seabed to provide a platform or fixed point. So it is like a big cone or buoy, and they can be used as mooring.
So now we're going to take a look into what's a strait. A strait is a narrow water body that will connect two larger bodies of water. So the thing here will be that the strait will be just a small narrow one. It won't be called a channel because it's too short and it's not so wide. The difference between a strait and a channel is that the channel is wider and larger, and so you can spend days traveling within a channel like the English Channel, but you will spend some hours crossing the Gibraltar Strait, and the Gibraltar Strait will interconnect, for example, the Atlantic Ocean with the Mediterranean Sea. So that will be a difference between a strait and a channel. And now, what's a canal? Well, a canal, it will be like a channel, a man-made channel. The straits and channels are where the straits and channels exist without the intervention of humans. Canals were constructed by humans, like the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal, which wouldn't exist if humans hadn't constructed them. A bay is a large body of water enclosed by land. This is the same definition for a bay and for a gulf. However, we usually tend to call a gulf to that large body of water that it will be enclosed by different countries or states, and a bay will be a smaller one, like within just one country, like the Bay of Panama. However, these are just terms. There are exceptions, just depending on where you are located. Some people will call bay to a very large body of water, as it is the Bay of Bengal, which is even larger than many of the world's gulfs, and they will call gulfs to small bays within one just small country, basically because their definition is the same. But usually the way to call them, that to differentiate one another, is that a gulf will usually tend to be bigger than a bay, and a bay will be bigger than a cove, a sand, a bay, a fjord, Polynyas will be bays covered by ice.
A stir, a wind, and wind. Stir and wind are direction. For example, if the ship was moving backwards, it said engines moving upstream. A stir without the A is the aft end of the vessel. A wind is 90 degrees looking up from the bridge. Wind is usually the location perpendicular to the bridge. Tidal streams and currents. They are the same things. Tidal streams is the name subject caused by tidal factors, any rising and falling of the water level to astronomical force. Currents is caused by the wind and thermogeline, a key temperature salt imbalance. Watertight and watertight doors. Watertight doors are usually found above the main deck. Watertight doors are under the waterline, such as the ones in cargo hold. Watertight means it should not leak under heavy sea conditions. However, the confusing part is that something they look very similar. The only way to make sure is, of course, by checking the general arrangement, aka blueprint of the ship.
The gross tonnage and net tonnage. The gross tonnage is the volume of all enclosed spaces on the ship, including the engine room, the bow thruster room, stores, and accommodations. The net tonnage is the cargo carrying spaces on the ship. It's like a measuring the money-making capability of the ship, and this is very important because a lot of ports, the anchors and pilotage, fee are calculation basis on the net tonnage. The hitch and knots. The knots is used to join two ropes together to the rope to itself, and the hitch is used to fix the rope to another object, such as a pole relies on the object to hold. The draft and dip. The dip is how much ability water there is on the ship, and the draft is how deep the ship is sitting on the water.
Construction. Well, superstructure is by definition a construction above each side to structure. So in ship it is, everything above it meant that, except any master or saint. Also, accommodation. Well, accommodation is simply only the living area. Dairy. A Doris layer and vertical motion is controlled by one cell line, and the leafing is done on separate set of lines. Crane. A crane's main difference is that they have a lot more freedom to the move around. And finally, swing circles and turn circles. Swing circle is used in anchoring to draw the limb. A turn circle is the vessel maneuver characteristic. Simple put, it shows how the ship will behave when they put it the held at her oar.
Number 13. Gangways ladder and accommodation ladder. Gangways are set up perpendicular to the ship, thin cruise ships. Accommodation ladders are set up in line with the ship length, can be used in conjunction with the pilot ladders. Number 14. Keg stand and windlass. On yachts or sailing boats, these two terms can be interchangeable. On large commercial ships, windlass have a horizontal axis, while keg stand have a vertical axis. Number 15. Density and specific gravity. This one is more for tanky people, which density is the mass over volume and specific gravity is the radius of the material. Density in water or another kind of fluids. So that's gonna be all for today's presentation. I hope you enjoy it. So I have to say thank you to take your time to see this 36 video of presentation. So have a good day.